Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to look at a knife that isn't mine. So it's definitely just going to be initial first impressions of the knife, my thoughts on it. So without further ado, this is the Meeting Creek Knives East Folk. So I'm going to read the specs off here. It is 3/16 of an inch thick, 01 tool steel, 5 3/8 inch blade, convex grind. Handle length is 4 3/4 inches long. I believe that this is Ghost Jade Green. Oh my God, the Ghost Jade G10. I won't keep wanting to say green, but yeah, it is green. G10 with toxic green G10 liners, which actually is a really cool look on this knife. I see why people like this handle material a lot. It has like this weird iridescence to it, and I feel like the toxic green underneath definitely makes it seem brighter and more iridescent than it is. So this knife is on loan to me from an Instagram friend that posted it. I thought it looked cool. This is the first recurve knife I've ever really used, so it's definitely interesting. I think this is a very new company. I've never heard of them before until I actually saw this brand. The earliest posts on the forums I see is from 2017, June 7th, 2017. So I'm assuming he's a fairly new maker. Let me see if I can get any more information on how long he's been doing knives for. Alright, here we go. First Instagram post was 2016. So we're in 2018. So pretty, to me, definitely pretty new knife maker on the market. I'm actually pretty impressed with this knife. Not like I wasn't expecting to be impressed. There's definitely some tweaks and some changes that I would make, but you guys take a look. This is a quick feather stick I made with this knife, which is absolutely beautiful, beautiful feathers. Pull those off. Let's see if I can reuse this one. Okay, maybe on the inside. Clean this piece off. The balance is great on this thing. The balance of this knife is pretty much right where your index finger goes. So I like that about it. But I definitely like how this thing feathers. Of course, now that I'm on camera, I can't get it. There we go. For me personally, the blade is just a bit too long. When I first started doing all this, I was like, oh yeah, I want really big knives. Big knives are amazing and awesome. Why would you ever have a small knife? Do everything with a big knife. And I've just gravitated more to knives around 4 3/4 and probably 5 inches. With more simple designs, except for my Adventure Sworn Guide, which is the biggest knife that I usually carry. I do have a larger light chopper and a machete, but I don't usually carry those by themselves. I would definitely companion carry those. So this might need a companion knife with it, especially with the thicker spine. And I'm not doing as good of a job here on this feather stick this time around, but I think it's just my awkward angle. But this thing did peel off some really, really nice feathers. It's got weight behind it, so you can just come back and you can... I was hoping that would lop off in one hit. Just lop off your feathers, keep on going. So now you'd have that, and that, and that. And the weight of the knife really just helps process this. Just really makes it easier to get the feathers done, just because there's just that weight behind it. But you can definitely... This thing baton's great because it's so thick. Let me grab I'll grab something to baton. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really, overall, it's just a really good knife. And a few tweaks and improvements on it would definitely make it better. We'll definitely go over those improvements. Handle's contoured, handle's basic, handle's super comfy though. I'd like to see it a little bit thicker, but for my tastes. But it is a super, super comfy handle. It does, I don't know, it just seems to do most things well. I keep coming back that it needs tweaks. So let's grab a quick log here to baton, show you guys how easy that is. So we now have we have a nice piece of sassafras here. So you probably can't see this at the top, but you'll be able to see it as I get more towards the bottom. We got Thumper, my big ass baton. This knife can definitely handle bigger chunks of wood. There we go. Without any real issues. Break this piece down a little bit more. I don't like sassafras. I have a lot of it to burn because of trees that were cut down around me. It's not that great of a wood, but the nice thing about it is if you do break it down smaller, since it's kind of a softer wood, you can definitely get it to dry out in a day or two out in the sun, and it'll be perfect for kindling. And the smell is probably an acquired smell, but it's not that bad. It's pretty easy to split too, but it's always usually bent. You never can usually find a straight piece of sassafras. But this is 01 tool steel, which is a great tool steel. It's more of a simple steel. It's nothing super high end, but it's really proven. Oh, this is a piece of oak. So this is much harder to get through. Oh, and there's a knot right there too. Let's see if we can bust through that. I thought I was going through a section without a knot in it. There we go. We're almost past that knot. We are past that knot. It went right through that knot like it was nothing. This is definitely one of those knives that you can beat on a lot more. Yeah, this is green oak. Most of the stuff I'm working with is still pretty green. We'll do another piece here. There's another partial knot. Right through that. There we go. Making up kindling now. There's not that much handle shock, which is nice. Right through another little knot. This thing is a beast when it comes to batoning, and we're checking our edge. Our edge still feels sharp, still looks good. No rolls, no deformations. Whatever heat treat is being used is spot on. I should mention that you can also get sheaths made. They're pretty basic in my opinion, but they work. So this one just slides in. You know, not a super high amount of retention, but I think if it gets wet formed, I can see it right here. If this is wet formed, it'll definitely hold better. But it's just a basic sheath, nothing super fancy. It does the job. This is definitely, you know, this is something that I would, if I had this, I would companion carry it. Yeah. Let's get down to a few things that I'd like to see different while also going through a couple other features. Back to the ground. To the wet ground, by the way. So this knife is awesome. This recurve sweep area is really great for getting in here, hogging off some material. If it looks, you know, if things look weird right now, it's just because I'm at an awkward angle trying to show the camera. But you definitely get under there. It has definite chopping power behind it. Put this a little closer. Definite chopping power there. This I've scraped all that bark off, or moved all that bark off. 90-degree spine. I'd like to see, so this side, if I feel it, that spine doesn't feel very sharp. This side of the spine feels much sharper. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I would definitely like to see just a bit more sharpness on that 90-degree spine for bushcraft tasks, for bark scraping, for making tinder, processing fat wood, things like that. I would love to see the knife logo etched deeper in here, and this looks like it has some heat treat finish left on it, which I'm fine with. Aesthetically, that's fine. From what I've seen, just from a bit of carving and a bit of feather sticking, I believe the edge is just a bit too thick, especially for my liking. Without measuring, I feel like it's more around 30 thou behind the edge, and I'd like to see it more around 20 thousandths. If that's not what it is, if it's already 20 thousandths, then I think the grind is just too steep and needs to be brought up higher, but I have not measured it. But if this was, with the thicker steel, if this grind was brought up just a bit higher to thin out that edge, it would be absolutely awesome. It's a good convex grind already, but it's just a little thick, in my opinion. As for other handholds, if I come in here, I'll straddle the log so I can get closer. If I come in here and I'm carving towards myself, that's fine. It does a good job there. And when I get up here, I can kind of feel that this really wants to bite into the wood. And that's someplace where a thinner grind would just, I think, give me a little bit more control. But that does very, very well. One issue that I do have is for reverse grip, because of this almost like a guard here, this piece is pretty sharp. If this was rounded out, maybe it would work a little bit better. But when I reverse grip, I'm trying to get up here, but my hand wants to kind of wrap around this piece. So I'd like to either see that eliminated or rounded out, so it's not as much. And because my hand has to stay further back, this edge here where the thumb scallop is, that transition is just a little sharp. So if that was just rounded off, buffed down a bit, it wouldn't dig into underneath my thumb so much. Chest lever does okay. But the biggest hotspot issue that I have is right here. And I think if I back off so it doesn't bother, then my thumb ends up pressing against here. So just maybe a little bit change here, a little bit of a change there. Overall, fit and finish looks absolutely excellent. There's no gaps, there's no place where the tang is protruding out. Everything else looks great. I just like to see the grind brought up a little bit, thin out the edge just a bit, this eliminated, and this smoothed out, and I think that would be an absolutely phenomenal knife. We can go over notching really quick, which I actually tested briefly. I think this did pretty good at notching. It's got good bite to it, but there's definitely knives out there that have much better bite. I think this will give that a little extra hit. This might pop a notch right in the beginning. Nope. It popped a notch on a smaller stick yesterday. I'm trying to dig that out. Because of that thicker grind, it doesn't quite bite as deep. But we can work on breaking that notch out. There we go. Not quite yet. There we go. There we go. I'm really holding on over here. And with a thinner grind, it'll definitely bite better. It'll give you more control over doing 7 notches, things like that. It's a little bit of a 7 notch. Do it real quick. It has a decent bite to it. Yesterday it was able to pop most of a pot hook notch. Definitely sinks in there. This is, definitely more of one of those smaller, I think, survival knives that do everything okay, but not everything amazingly well. But I do have to say the edge retention on this, the sharpenability is great. A few tweaks here and there, and I think this will be an absolutely amazing knife company. I definitely like the knife. There's just a few improvements. So if you guys like this video, you want to see more videos like this, more quick looks, more first impressions, more reviews in general, go ahead and subscribe, comment, share, like, all that fun stuff, and I will be back with more videos.